everybody. Katie and Olivia here with a special guest this morning. We have Dr. Amy Stockton. We are out here at the beautiful Stockton Vet. I just have to show you guys how awesome their views are out here. It's fabulous. All these pretty trees tucked off here just off of Riverview. You kind of forget you guys are here unless you have to come visit you. Hopefully for good things and not always sad, right?
Yeah,
but
just a checkup.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
Get some medicine,
Yes.
treats,
Pick up
those
some
kind of
food.
things. So today, guys, we kind of have a crazy, weird, funny, but super informative. Like, we're talking to Amy and she's just telling us all sorts of info about bats. Bats of all things, creepy, flyy bats. And Amy is just so full of knowledge, and we really have a reason why we're talking about this that Olivia will get to. But we're going to be super informative for you guys today. So if you have questions, let us know.
So we really wanted to talk about bats because we've been hearing that they're around locally right now. We're seeing them a lot. Actually, Brooke and I had our very own personal run-in with some bats in Hudson recently. And so that made me super aware of it. And then I read a little bit about it and I thought, wow, what if you find a bat in your house? What do you do? What's the right thing to do to handle it? And so we thought Amy knows more about bats and the rabies risks and all the things you should know. So we drug her in to come talk to us.
On location.
So I think one of the most things to start with anyway is really what happens if you find a bat in your house. I didn't even know that could happen until we saw them at a bar. And I was like,
and you
they
kind of
come inside? They have to be sick if they're coming inside, right?
Well,
So what is the story?
okay, so inside, first thing you have to do is not panic because they're kind of creepy, right? And you just want to run the other
So
way.
that's
Flying
my,
mice.
yes, total
Yeah, and
reaction.
Everyone told you, oh, they're going to get stuck in your hair or whatever
Yep.
when you were growing up. But if they do, you just need to kind of be calm. It's not likely that they will because they're going to try to go the other way. And it's really actually hard to catch a bat if they're flying. So really, if you want to get one out of your house, number one, if you're in the city, you call Becky, and Becky comes and takes care of things.
The easy
That's our
solution
animal
for
control
people
officer.
in town, right?
Good
If
to
you're
know.
out of town, you know, we can take care of this ourselves, okay? First of all, you want to put on some long sleeves because we don't want this little guy to bite us, right? We know bats carry rabies.
Yeah.
Rabies is not really a curable disease once you start having signs or symptoms, so we don't want to get bitten. We don't want to have the shots, which we can talk about in a little bit too.
Eesh.
So we're going to wear long sleeves, long pants, shoes that they can't bite through, and some gloves to get a hold of this little
So
guy.
these shoes aren't appropriate.
Sorry,
Amy?
No
no
cute
toes.
shoes. Cute shoes, but no go. Not bat catching attire.
Amy, good example
Yes.
of appropriate
Yes.
shoes. Okay.
Okay, so if you've got a bucket or if you've got, say, a towel, you can sneak up on the little guy if he's stuck somewhere, and they're usually going to stick to things that are like upright, so the wall or the
That's
curtain.
how the one we saw was.
They were on the walls?
It was on a door.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're going to usually go for softer things like curtains or hanging clothes or the backs of chairs, you know, upholstered chairs and things like that. So going to be looking for those certain places. Usually it's just one that's come in for one reason or another, but if you see, you know, you catch one and then there's another one somewhere, you may have a problem and need to call Terminix or Weed and Pest or something to get, you know, whatever the source is taken care of. But we have one loose in the house. We don't know if he's bitten somebody. We don't know if he's bitten a dog. So technically I want to see the bat and I want to test him. So I want you to get him to me. So a bucket, with all of your gear on, you can put the bucket over him on the wall and then just kind of scrape a piece of cardboard through or the lid to the bucket, and then you've got
knock him off.
Right, just kind of scrape him off into the bucket and keep it closed because he may fly out at you if you're like, did I get him? You know, if he's not on the wall, he's in the bucket.
He's in the
I got
bucket.
him and then I let him go.
That would be what I would do.
And then he might fly away. So if they're flying around, you need to just let them settle down. So everyone needs to get out of the room, get the dogs, get the kids, everybody out of the room, shut the doors, and then you can creep in later after he's settled down and get him out of there.
Now, so you mentioned biting, and we talked about this a little bit before, but I would think if you got bit by a bat, it would be like, like a mosquito or a bee. but
snake or
apparently
something
that's
scary,
not
yeah.
the
Well,
same.
it can happen when you're sleeping. Okay, so
Oh
if
my
there's
gosh.
a bat loose in your room and you're asleep and you get bitten, I mean, you may just, you know, do this and
Not even
turn
know.
over and not even
So
know.
it's
And that
not
has
even-
happened in Fremont County. We lost a resident because of it. She didn't even know that she'd
know
been
she-
bitten.
So it's not necessarily a super traumatic event or something
No,
that you're
not
going to
get a big
know.
old, it's not gonna be like a snake bite or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's just
Wow.
a little teeny little wound, you know, somewhere that you may be like, oh, I wonder how I did that, and just go on with your day.
It
So
makes me think maybe
Crazy.
we should get rabies shots for ourselves, not just our critters.
the
Right?
veterinarians are usually vaccinated, and technicians, and
Because you're
animal
always
control
around it or
officers.
have the
Right.
risk of being around
Mhm.
it. Oh, that's
So
smart.
vaccinations for people are a set of 3. So if you want to vaccinate yourself against rabies, which I don't recommend, you can have headaches and things from the vaccination. So it's one and then another and then a booster. So I actually had to vaccinate my son because there was a questionable night one night where he heard something scratching around in our room and his screen was open and we didn't know what it was. And of course, me being a panicked mom,
Yeah.
I made him get the
You
vaccinations.
never want to take that risk with your
No.
kids
Smart.
or
So
yourself.
he
or
got the
anyone.
vaccinations. But if you have a known exposure, say, or a suspected exposure, so say I got bitten by a bat and it got loose and I couldn't test it. And it was outside in the daytime, just not acting like itself. So I'm like, what is going on with this? Well, then I'm going to have to get prophylaxis shots then. In the old days, you used to get them in your stomach. They'd put that duck
Makes me hurt
protein in
just
it, right?
talking about
Yeah,
it. Ow.
nasty peritoneal
Yeah.
shot. These days, it's just an intramuscular shot, but it is a really thick, big shot. I had to have them when I was in 8th grade. I was bitten by a dog that had no known rabies vaccination, and so I had to get the shot. And I remember that nurse shaking, you get the shot in your hip right here, and she was just shaking like this, trying to push that thick stuff
Oh
in.
my goodness.
Oh.
And you can just feel it separating the fascia in your muscles, and you can't sit down and you can't stand up. So it's not anything anyone wants to go through. It's very expensive, and we're putting stuff in our bodies that we don't necessarily feel like we need, but we certainly don't want to get rabies because we're going to die if we do.
So it's really a good idea to get that test if you find one in your house, and that way, because if it's in your house, I guess you don't know if it bit you last night,
You don't know.
and so you really want to actually catch it and bring it in, so that you can just know for sure.
Yep, and you bring it to us. There's a nominal fee for just processing and getting it to the lab, and then we call you within a week with results, so you know.
And then you know if you need to go get the scary nasty shot or not.
I
Is
haven't
there-
had a positive bat yet this year, but I have
good.
had bats that were positive in the past. And actually, just down Riverview, I had someone in my family bring me one that turned out to be positive. No known exposure to any people, but it was positive, and we had a lot of positive bats that year.
Wow.
So it's just kind of on and off.
Kind of goes in phases. So what do you think, maybe you don't know this, maybe I'm putting you on the spot, but what do you think the reason is there's so much talk about them this year? Because I can't think of the last time somebody talked about running into a bat or
I
anything
think
like
it's just
that.
because their numbers are so high this year. Becky's bringing them from inside office buildings. There was one under the desk, like you scoot up to your desk and there's
Oh
a
my
bat under your
gosh.
desk. And, or
that's
on
scary.
the wall when you walk into your office. So we're just finding a lot this year that are not acting normal. Maybe they're just getting pushed out of their normal areas because there are so many. I don't know if you guys have seen a bunch flying around at night.
My mom had one. She's in town. She just had one in her umbrella on her patio.
Okay.
Really?
And
Yep.
so that's kind of normal, that's outside. He's sleeping during the
and that was it.
daytime.
He was sleeping, and it
Right.
was
So, those guys don't worry me, but the ones that are, out in the open or flying around in the daylight.
Like if we were to
that's
see
just-
one right now,
Right, that would not
does
be normal.
not seem normal.
So
at
those
how
all.
we
crazy.
test.
What if we did see one? We should have planned that.
Larry threatened today to sneak up behind you with a bat.
Oh my
like
gosh.
Bat Dad.
Oh my
and
gosh.
try to startle you, but I
Try
knew
to
he wouldn't
startle
show
me, I
up
would
and
have.
do
I'm already
it.
freaked about my desk. Like, no bats under the desk. I'm good.
Tapping it
Yeah,
with a broomstick or something.
I'm okay.
When Katie's going around the office
Yeah.
with a broom.
Well, no.
Oh,
Any
my.
bats? Are we good?
Oh, gosh.
So I think we touched a little on this, Amy. Are there things we can do to keep the bats away or to help keep us and our animals safe?
Yes. So number one, we can vaccinate our dogs and our cats. Make sure that they're vaccinated. That is so important because if they're exposed and they're not vaccinated, they may have to be euthanized to be tested. We can't test a live animal yet. They're working on tests for that, but they don't have them. So I don't ever want to euthanize somebody's pet because it bit somebody and it didn't have its rabies vaccine
no kidding.
up to
Yep.
date, or that it was exposed to a possible rabbit bat. That's just senseless. So it's a $15 vaccine. Just come see us. We'll get them vaccinated. Period.
Awesome.
For us, there are all sorts of bat deterrents that you can look online, shop for them, talk to Brian at Terminix, talk to Weed and Pest, some ultrasonic things you can put on the outside to keep them away. You can put a bat house way on the other side of your field to keep them on that end of the field, you know. Kind of
Good to
things.
know.
You know, they're not that bad to have around normally as long as
like
they're healthy.
mosquitoes and other bugs?
They're really good to have around for those sorts of things. So you kind of maybe want them out here. You just don't want them in your home.
Very interesting. We used to watch them fly around by our barn, and it was kind of cool because all you could see is the shadows.
Yeah, and it was all dark.
But
Yeah.
then this whole year, I've got this new awareness of how scary that was, that they were that close to my house. So maybe
Yeah.
I'm going to get a bat house.
That sounds good. Yeah.
My dad learned how to build those online too. So.
Oh,
Can
see?
you get Google how to build
Google.
a bat house?
Google. Well, thank you so much, Amy. You've truly helped us a ton. We really like to help people out with things like this. Like Olivia said, we'd never thought of bats, how crazy that they could be a problem. But then when you start thinking rural and animals and pets and even your kids, things like that, definitely good to know. I'm going to be looking up some
Thanks so
bat
much.
You're
deterrents.
welcome. That's a good time.
If you guys have any questions, let us know. Bye.
See you.